Yeah, coach, just wanted to see how practice went today, what you guys got accomplished, and did Dario do any more than he has in the last, 2 or 3 days?
We had a good practice, a lot of review, just worked on some defensive stuff in the half court and preparations for the season, but especially opening night. And Dario went through a lot today, and we'll just see how his body responds.
And to follow that up, obviously opening up against Dallas, present a ton of challenges, starting with Luka Doncic. Just your thoughts on facing them in the opener.
Well, it's Luka. He's a high usage guy, one of the highest in the league. But they have a really good team. I mean, Hardaway is a guy that can do more than shoot the ball. Um, they've added some guys like Richardson, who's a two-way player, and then you look at Cleaver, his ability to dive and pop and play with force. Finney Smith plays with energy. He can make shots. They have one of those teams that, if you just focus on one person, you can get, beat by the, other really good players. And so our focus for sure is on Luka because he warrants that. But they have a number of guys that can get it done. I mean, they got Brunson back. They didn't have him this summer, and he's a really good player. So Dallas, plays a lot like we do with pace and space, and they have guys that can get to the rim and put pressure on the rim. Obviously, it revolves around Luka, but they have a good team.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Paul Richardson.
Hey, Coach. When Chris first arrived and we talked to you for the first time since then, you said you were really looking forward to just getting back to his basketball mind and having conversations with him. Short sample size so far, only been a couple of weeks, but just your overall thoughts thus far on getting back to that with him a decade later.
It's just a breath of fresh air when you have someone that can take what you're doing on the floor and do it and then see other things. We had that with Ricky last year, that the more you can have, real prototype point guards on your team, the less you have to do and call. And so a lot of our conversations have been about what we do, what other teams are doing. He called me a couple nights ago about a team that we're not even playing anytime soon, just talking about what they were doing, their matchups. And, you know the guys who are watching games at night. And those guys are the ones that come in with the questions, or you bring up something about a game you saw, they know it. Like Chris is at the top of the list for that typical or topic, I should say. So for me, it's been really cool to just chop it up about basketball and different schemes and different teams with him.
Next is Paul Richardson with the Sports Cave, followed by Duane Rankin.
Coach, this year obviously is your second year coaching this team. When you look back over last year, a lot has happened, but can you reflect on getting ready for that first game last year in comparison to getting ready to the first game this year, with what you know now about the team and what transpired last year?
I mean, it seems like 10 years ago, Paul, just because of what we're going through in our country, what we're going through in the world. I mean, I'm talking with a mask on, so it's a totally different world we live in. Last year we were just anxious about getting on the floor, showing what we could do, gaining the respect of the league. I think we're still in that position, even though we've gained a little bit. But the external dynamics have had a huge effect on what we do in the league. And so all of our mindsets are different. We're playing games with no one in the stands. There's really no home court advantage. That's a huge difference compared to last year when we came out. Our fans were were rocking, and it was a really cool experience for me to be able to coach again. So just a totally different world. Makes you really understand how blessed you are, how grateful you should be. And we tell our guys all the time that what we do is a get to and not a got to, and we get to play basketball for a living and coach basketball, and we're looking forward to that.
This is Duane Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Gina Mizell.
Yeah, Coach. Just a follow up on Chris. I've asked a few coaches just when they first started coaching, who's a player that they look back at now and go, "Wow, I wish I would have coached him what I know now." Is this a similar situation with Chris? Like, I'm getting the chance to coach someone again, and now I know so much more than I did when I first coached the guy.
I mean, you said it. I don't want to get in his way. I've said that a number of times. The really good players, the great ones, they have an ability to, do a lot on the floor, and it comes natural to them. And that's where I want to be able to help him and not hurt him. And so there'll be times where I just point to him and say, "You run it," and that's, I think, the trust that we've built from my time in New Orleans over the 10 years where we've crossed paths, and now to be able to do it again. That's my goal, is to, not inhibit what he does naturally. I think that's every coach's goal, but not, every coach has a point guard like Chris. And so that's my mindset as I, get a chance to coach him again, is like, don't get in his way, try to enhance what he does. At the same time, if I can help him, I have to be ready to do that.
All right, last question comes from Gina Mizell with Suns.com.
Hey, Monty. I know you're big on the mantras and the phrases, and the reps removed out one. I don't remember hearing that last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm curious where that one came from and why you kind of chose that one to sort of, I guess, set the table with putting it on the screens and kind of having it present throughout the facility during camp.
Yeah, you really don't want to know where that stuff comes from. It's just you're always trying to figure out a way to get your players' attention, to get the team's attention. It's everybody tells their guys to work, right? Like, you got to work hard. For me, it was like, how can you phrase that without making it seem like the everyday cliche usage of words that we all kind of fall into? And so who knows what I was doing? It happened at home in my office several months ago. Just planning for the season and trying to inspire or get the attention of our team and our staff. I think it applies to everything, your marriage, studying in school, basketball, football. Like, when you get the work in, it removes the doubt. When you study enough or as much as you need to for the test, it removes the doubt, and if we're all honest, and we went to college, there were times where we didn't cram and we didn't study for a test that we thought we could pass, and they changed up one or two questions on that test, and there was a lot of doubt for us, if we're all honest about it. And I know it happened to me. And so it's just something that I've tried to implement to help our guys understand that when you get the work in, it removes any doubt, and you can sleep better because you put the work in.